Hi there. It's December 15th, Friday, and it's time for Proverbs 15. Let's jump over there. We'll get to it. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. This is very important to remember. When you're arguing, especially with your spouse, remember, a soft word turns away wrath. A harsh word stirs up anger. If you're the one who's quiet and answers softly and you don't yell, that affects the other person in a positive way. Yelling back and forth just gets louder and louder, and pretty soon the cops are there and it's awkward. No, we don't want to do that. And it works in every situation, Somebody usually argues because their feelings aren't being validated. And sometimes that's all they need, is for somebody to understand how they feel. They can be right or wrong, but that's how they feel. So yeah, remember that. Soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of fools pours forth foolishness. You hear a lot of people talking on the news and on the internet, and they're just pouring forth foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. Right? He sees all. A wholesome tongue is the tree of life, but perverseness breaks the spirit. Now we can look this up. Perverseness of a person or their action showing a deliberate and obstinate desire to behave in a way that is unreasonable or unacceptable, often in spite of the consequences. That's Bing's description of perverseness. When they do something wrong, they know it's wrong, they do it anyways. Okay? A fool despises his father's instruction, but he who receives correction is prudent. Shall we look up that one? Prudent. Prudent. Acting with or showing care and thought for the future. Got that? Cool. In the house of the righteous there is much treasure, but in the revenue of the wicked is trouble. Right. They call that ill-gotten gains. Ill-gotten gains. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of a fool does not do so. Right? That's simple. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. Right. You see people spreading stuff around and doing good. They call them philanthropists, even though they're evil people. God doesn't like that. The way of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but he loves him who follows righteousness. That's simple. Harsh discipline is for him who forsakes the way, and he who hates correction will die. Pretty simple, eventually. Hell and destruction are before the Lord, so much more the hearts of the sons of men. Right? A scoffer does not love one who corrects him, nor will he go to the wise. Let's look the word scoffer up. Get clarity on these. To scoff is to speak to someone or about something in a scornfully derisive or mocking way. They say making fun of people, A merry heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. Yes, There's other places where it says, a cheerful heart doeth good like medicine. And this is very similar. Being happy inside. Joy. Joy is knowing where you're going to end up. That's joy. Joy and happiness are two different things. Okay? The heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. Yeah, think about these crowds and these protesters. What are they feeding on? Feeding on foolishness. Pretty straight up. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he who has a merry heart has a continual feast. Again, about having joy in here. Better is a little with fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble. Right. I totally agree with that. Here's a good one. Better is a dinner of herbs or vegetables, where love is, than a fatted calf with a hatred. Oops. Step it. Yeah. Better a simple meal with people you love than somebody disdainfully here. You know, it's just, that's not fun. A wrathful man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger allies contention. That word, I looked that up before. Allays. Diminish or put at rest fear, suspicion, or worry. Right? Puts at rest. It's always good to be slow to anger. Slow to anger. The way of the lazy man is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the upright is a highway. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to him who is destitute of discernment, but a man of understanding walks uprightly. Let's look at this word, folly. Lack of good sense. That's a form of foolishness. Okay? Foolishness is joy to him who is destitute of discernment. Without counsel, plans go awry, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. Right? Always get advice. Okay? Seek advice. If you want advice on your business, and I did when I was in business when I was younger, I went to retired people who had successful businesses, who knew the ins and outs and the ways. You know, there used to be a company in California when I had my business in the 90s. It was called the Service Corps of Retired Executives, SCORE. And all it was a group of wise counselors, you know, retired executives that that gave advice and counsel free of charge. They were retired executives, Service Corps of Retired Executives, SCORE. And you could go to them and you could show them your business plan, and they would read it and they would look at it and they would say, you know, this worked for me and this won't work because X, Y, Z. You know, and I always felt better after leaving one of the meetings with this with this little nonprofit company. We need more of that out there. Yeah, multitude of counselors, they are established. A man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season. How good it is. Right? The way of life winds upward for the wise, that he may turn away from hell below. I got that. If you're wise and you keep Seeking wisdom, it's like a stairway going up towards heaven, closer to the Father, farther away from hell. That's a good one right there. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the boundary of the widow. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant. Right. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes will live. Now, there's a lot of bribery going on around that District of Columbia on the East Coast right now, and everywhere for that matter, And they always comes back to bite you. The heart of the righteous studies how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours forth evil. Right? I like that. The heart of the righteous studies how to answer. Like if someone asks me a question, even on here, I'm going to study it first. I'm going to make sure that what I'm saying has actual facts to back it up. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart, and a good report makes the bones healthy. Yes. Like a good report, huh? The ear that hears the rebukes of life will abide among the wise. Let's just highlight that. Okay. He who disdains instruction despises his own soul, but he who heeds rebuke gets understanding. Let's look that up. This is fun. Disdain, the feeling that someone or something is unworthy of one's consideration or respect. In other words, contempt. Wow. The feeling that someone or something is unworthy of one's consideration or respect. Okay. Sometimes there's somebody that, hey, I got some advice for you. If you do that this way, it's going to go better. And some people, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a stupid mechanic. What do you know about this? Well, he's a mechanic. He's probably done it. He's probably made mistakes, and he's telling you that if you do it this way, it's going to go better. Okay? He who disdains instruction despises his own soul. But he who heeds rebuke gets understanding. I've had situations as a construction manager, and I'm not a contractor. I'm just a construction manager. But I'll see somebody trying to do something, and I know a better way. Like I say, I know a better way to do that. It's real simple. Instead of doing all this measure, you just put this, mark this, do this, and they'll go, that's genius. Okay? And they heed rebuke and they get understanding. Okay? The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. I have been practically preaching on this since the beginning. Being humble is the most important. Wise, discernment, knowledge, being humble. Okay? The ones who is humble will always be honored. The ones who go around with their I did this, and I'm good at this, and I'm good at that. You don't get a reward. People usually disdain you, as we found out before. But people always love the humble, especially a hero. Wow, you saved all these children from this burning building. It's like, it's just anybody would have done it. It's just what had to be done. Just very humble, and they build them up. You should be humble about everything. So that's Proverbs 15. I highlighted some stuff in here. We'll go over that real quick. Verse 1, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. We need to remember this. In the heat of the battle, you need to remember this. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord. Yeah. Merry heart makes a cheerful countenance. Let's look this up. Countenance. Have we looked that one up too? A person's face or facial expression. Okay? Makes somebody happy. The mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. Right? Better is a little with fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble. Right? And it's been shown. I mean, you watch these rich people, the more they have, the more trouble they have. Okay? Constantly. Better is a dinner of herbs or vegetables where love is than a fatted calf with hatred. He who is slow to anger allies or puts off contention. Important stuff. The way of life winds upward for the wise, that he may turn away from hell below. Right? You're seeking the Lord, you're going to get closer to the Lord and farther away from hell. It's just that simple. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes will live. Right. Taking a bribe is taking money for something that you know is wrong. And they do it all the time. They, meaning, people that are supposed to be our representatives, who pretend to be our leaders when they're not. They're just representatives. Verse 28, the heart of the righteous studies how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours forth evil. Yes. Study how to answer. Don't just blurt out something if you don't know it. If you don't know it, say, I don't know, but I will find out. Okay? And at one time I spent most of my career as a computer technician before I got into the construction thing. And I noticed people that bring computers in for repair know nothing. I mean, they knew how to press the buttons and ask for stuff and get answers. If somebody comes up to me and said, do you know why it's doing this? When I ask it to do this, it does this instead. And I will look at it. If I can't figure it out, I would say to them honestly, I don't know why it does that, but I will find out and I will get you an answer. They always appreciated that. More than having some off the cuff right away. Well, it's probably this, probably the person pressing the buttons. But they always appreciated that if you studied how to answer. Let me find out for you. The ear that hears the rebukes of life will abide among the wise. It's a good one. And one of the most important before honor is humility. So, there you have it. That's Proverbs 15. Lots of good stuff in here. Lots of good stuff. So, there you have it. It's Proverbs 15. Stay tuned later for Luke 15 in our Christmas series. And I might do another song today. I can think of one to do. But, until then, have a good Friday, a good weekend. See you later.